Okay guys, this is not going to be a very positive video. So if you guys don't like negativity, I suggest you bail now because there's going to be a lot of complaining in this particular video. I'm talking about two new fragrances from the house of Tom Ford. Cherry Smoke and Electric Cherry. What the hell were they thinking with these fragrances? Find out all about them coming right up. But you know what? I'm also going to talk about the original Lost Cherry from Tom Ford, and then also talk to you guys about this discovery of a cherry fragrance called Cherry Syrup, all coming up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today we're talking about Cherry Smoke and Electric Cherry from Tom Ford. 50 ml for $390, over $400 with tax for these fragrances. What the hell were they thinking about these? You know, I thought they had a pretty fun little idea when they launched Lost Cherry. It had a catchy name, it smelled fun, playful, kind of a boozy gourmand with the overdose of cherry. Launched in 2018, created by Louise. 100 ml of this sells for $5.50. It features notes of black cherry, cherry liqueur, bitter almonds, Turkish rose, jasmine, sambac, griotte syrup, Peru balsam, roasted Tonka beans. I enjoyed it. It's a fun fragrance, nothing groundbreaking, nothing too like an award-winning kind of a fragrance. I think it does its job. There's a lot of fans for it. It's a very fruity fragrance, overdose of cherry, as I said. It's got that cherry liqueur vibe going for it, and it has those bitter almondy touches. So it's a gourmand. It's delicious. And under there's that rose that kind of tries to come out. It doesn't, but I think it's a fun fragrance. Recently, I did feature this as my favorite cherry fragrance and a ton of different cherry fragrances because I feel like it's a job well done. This is not a fragrance I brag about to everyone. It's fun to wear. And I think Tom Ford should have stopped there with this one because they already have a cherry fragrance. How many more cherry fragrances do we need? There's so many cherry fragrances out there. You can go watch that video of cherry fragrances, and there's more coming out. And when I first heard about Cherry Smoke last year, as soon as I heard about it, I started seeing bottles pop up. So I'm just thinking back on that, and I see this happening quite a bit with Tom Ford. All these bottles end up at eBay and things like that, and people somehow end up with them. Is this a way for them to grab attention with the fragrances that they're going to launch in the near future? I don't know what they're doing, how they do this, and how people end up with the fragrances before they're launched. Because I actually sampled Cherry Smoke in November. One of my followers and someone that's also in the community had a bottle. I smelled it, and instantly I thought about, okay, this is reminding me of Lost Cherry, because Cherry Smoke does have a reminder of Lost Cherry. Between the two, Electric Cherry and Cherry Smoke will remind you of Lost Cherry more than Electric Cherry, but then of course it becomes woody, ambery, leathery when it's drying down. It's of course smoky as well when it's drying down. But then we've got another fragrance, Electric Cherry, that just launched at the same time. So here in the States, both of these launched together. I was able to buy Cherry Smoke in the UK, and I think it was around 240 pounds, British pounds, for the 50 ml. Here it's $3.90. So when I came back, because they hadn't launched Electric Cherry in the UK, I ended up buying Electric Cherry. First, when I smelled it, I thought this is more fun than Cherry Smoke, because Cherry Smoke does remind me of Lost Cherry a little bit too much. Of course, as I said, it does go to become smoky, ambery, leathery. But after I started wearing this one, I'm like, this is stupid. This smells like a shampoo to me, or fragrances that I would buy at Bath & Body Works. It smells really, really cheap. I'll stay there for now. Let me talk about Cherry Smoke first. But before I talk about Cherry Smoke, are you enjoying Cherry Smoke? Are you enjoying Electric Cherry? Let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. But Cherry Smoke's Perfumer I wasn't able to find. Also, I wasn't able to find a Perfumer for Electric Cherry. But as I said, the original Lost Cherry is created by Louise. I did notice that there was a note that was mentioned here for Cherry Smoke on the Tom Ford website, which I didn't write down, is a Givaudan created ingredient. So Louise, who did Lost Cherry is working at Givaudan. So maybe she created both of these fragrances as well. But it's a 2022 launch. No perfumer is mentioned currently. 50 ml for $3.90. There is a 30 ml for $2.40. It features dark cherry flavor, saffron, osmanthus, and according to the Tom Ford website, it's supposed to have accords of apricots, olives, leather. There's smoke wood accord and cypriol. So I've always known that osmanthus has that kind of a leathery smell along with apricots or other stone fruits. This is the first time I'm hearing about olives, although kind of faintly in my back of my mind I have seen it pop up. I guess I could see the olives coming in here. For me, it's a major blast of cherry, dark cherry flavor, and this is in the initial blast. I'm reminded of Lost Cherry, but it's there for about 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, and then it starts becoming smoky. Saffron is taking over, and I feel like the saffron is the spice. It's a spice, of course, also has leathery touches. So not only are we getting leather from osmanthus, we're getting it from this spice note as well. So there's an overdose of leather in here for me, and this is what's creating the smokiness, like a smoky leather touch. Dark cherry, syrupy, kind of very juicy, jammy, and I'm thinking of those cherries that you buy in Italy with those jars. They're white jars with like blue, you know, writing and designs on it, and that they have kind of like a boozy cherry flavor. I'm thinking that's what I'm getting with this, because there's definitely a little bit of booziness there. And then of course it starts becoming very, very smoky and then woody, and then that little bit of cypriol kind of comes through with this particular note. It's got this kind of characteristic of patchouli, vetiver, a bit smoky, very woody kind of a deal. So this one's okay to me, but as I said, I don't need more cherry fragrances from Tom Ford. But I'm fine with this one. I'm fine with it. I'm buying it to let you guys know. I think with these particular fragrances, they're so expensive. Tom Ford fragrances are extremely expensive. You definitely need to sample them. Don't blind buy them, because I smelled this at the store and I thought, yeah, it smells fine. I like it. I want to get it. But as soon as I started wearing it, it started smelling very, very cheap to me. With the cherry smoke, with the fact that it has a reminder of the original Lost Cherry and it goes into that smoky direction, it can come off a bit more interesting, but it stops there. I don't really want to wear the cherry smoke because I don't like that combination of the fruitiness with the leathery touches and the woods together. For me, cherries are more bright, uplifting, and happy, and I don't want the smoky woodiness mixed in with this bright, uplifting kind of happy fruitiness from the cherry. So I feel like this is a failed attempt at a fragrance, because I don't want to say that they're trying, it's a cash grab kind of a thing, but I feel like that's what it is, because they have a very successful fragrance here with Lost Cherry, and what are they going to do? They have no ideas left on fragrances. We're going to capitalize on the cherry, and we're going to do two different cherry fragrances in different directions. Again, I don't hate this one as much as I hate the next one, but I don't think it was necessary to launch Cherry Smoke, launch something completely different. I don't think they're going to have success with these two fragrances as they do with the original, and these will be discontinued. At least that's my thoughts on this. I don't know if cherry is that popular of a note to have not one but 2 or 3 different fragrances from one brand. It's like, it's not necessary to me. And I love cherries. I love to eat them, and every summer I wait for them and want them, but I don't really love wearing cherries that much as a perfume. I like the smell of it, but it's not the kind of fragrances that I keep craving to pull for and wear over and over and over again. So that's my thoughts on Cherry Smoke. Now, on the other hand, with Electric Cherry, this is such a disappointing release. This was definitely unnecessary for a release. This smells really, really cheap, not worth $390 for a 50 ml. Absolutely not. This is something I would buy at Bath & Body Works. This is what I would see in their shelves in those very, very bright, playful kind of bottles and kind of designs, not in a sexy Tom Ford bottle. Never. Once again, it's a 2020 launch. No perfumer is mentioned. It's 50 ml, $390. There is a 30 ml for $240. Features notes of Morello, cherry, ginger, jasmine, sambac, Ambrettolide, which is basically a musk. It's a synthetic form of Brett, I believe. And then there's pink peppercorns as well. Those are the notes. And for me, it smells like a shampoo. It wears like a shampoo. The thinness, it's just got something in here that just kind of feels like I'm about to put this shampoo in my hair and kind of like rinse it off. That's what it smells like a very, very fruity, kind of a very, I don't want to say high-end, but the kinds of shampoos that are found in Europe or something, like where I go to their, you know, their drugstores and looking for like products to buy, and then there's these kind of like fruity things in different bottles, and I smell them and then it's like, oh, that smells really nice and fruity. I wouldn't mind having that for my hair. And that's what this reminds me of, something very, very shampoo-like, because it has this kind of like a shampoo-like qualities when I'm wearing the particular fragrance. Initial blast is really, really cherry for sure, and then it just goes downhill from there. It's just really very, very disappointing release. Nothing exciting about this one. And here I spent $390 on this one. At least I spent less money on the Cherry Smoke than this one. And this is the most disappointing of the two launches. It does get musky for sure. There's some spice. There's a little bit of spice. It's sweet and syrupy for sure. Definitely fruity. And it has balsamic touches as it's drying down. But I get shampoo. I get shampoo here. Literally cherry shampoo, or something that I would find at Bath and Body Works. That's what it is. This is such a disappointing release from Tom Ford. When I was putting my notes together for these two fragrances from the Tom Ford website, I saw somewhere there was like this quote from Tom Ford for one of these fragrances, and I can't remember which one. I highly doubt Tom Ford had anything to do with these two fragrances. I highly doubt it. These are definitely not fragrances that Tom Ford would do. I just don't think he would. I'm not 100% sure, but it just doesn't sound like this is the kind of fragrance he would wear. When all his fragrances had that kind of noir theme, there's a lot of fragrances from Tom Ford that have the noir name. This is not. I don't know. Perhaps they should have called Cherry Smoke Cherry Noir. It would have fit a little more with the noir theme of Tom Ford fragrances. But both of these are very, very disappointing, and I highly, highly recommend you get your noses on these before you buy a full bottle. I mean, at least Cherry Smoke is a little more interesting than Electric Cherry, but the one you really need to watch out for is Electric Cherry. It's not electric whatsoever, not at all. No. And again, I'll say it again, it's shampoo for me. It smells like shampoo, and it actually has the density and the characteristic of shampoo when I'm smelling it. Such a disappointing release. If this is the direction Tom Ford's gonna go in, high priced fragrances, disappointing actual fragrances, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think this brand is going downhill personally. But let's see what they're gonna launch next. We'll have to just wait and see. I know there's another fragrance that's just gonna be launching very soon. It's already out, just like Cherry Smoke. And I forgot the name of this fragrance. It's part of the, I think it's called Soleil de Feu, F-U, I think that's what it's called. And I was looking it up. I'm gonna put some of my notes together for this video soon of new fragrances launching soon. And I already see it selling on eBay. So I feel like these are kind of like launched or like released by Tom Ford or the parent company Estee Lauder for people to start posting places so people get really excited about them. It's kind of like an old marketing trick, and you know, the Kardashians did it quite a bit, and I kind of see it happening here with Tom Ford. Where in the world are people getting these fragrances months in advance before they're launched? I mean, who has access to these fragrances? How come people on you know, Facebook are selling a bunch of bottles of stuff that hasn't even launched yet? Where do they get the stuff? It seems really weird. Anyway, we'll talk about that more later. I do have one additional fragrance I'm going to talk to you about. So this is cherry syrup by a brand called Proad. I think it's a Thai brand. I know for a fact it is a Thai brand. And the way I was able to get this fragrance, I was at ZGO Perfumery one day. A guy came up to me and says, I have a gift for you, and I'm giving this fragrance to you. And ZGO Perfumery doesn't sell this. No one here in in Bay Area sells this fragrance. So they gave me this bottle and I started wearing it and I thought, what is this all about? And I'm kind of getting Lost Cherry like qualities and also the qualities of something like Baccarat Rouge. So I feel like whoever's created this fragrance took those themes, those ideas, Lost Cherry and Baccarat Rouge, combined them together to create a fragrance that not only smells like Lost Cherry's cherryness and the booziness and the almondy touches, but also the kind of ambroxan, musky, saffron kind of almondy touches. And I think they kind of work well together. So this is a 2019 launch. On the Proad website, I noticed that this fragrance is selling, but they had the prices in Thai money. With the conversion, I came to the conclusion that 100 ml is around $125. So not very expensive, but it features notes of cherry, rum, cinnamon, saffron, vanilla, tonka beans, ambroxan, sandalwood, oak, jasmine, nutty notes, and benzoin. A lot of stuff happening with this one, and for me, it does remind me for sure of Lost Cherry. Definitely. And again, as I was saying, Lost Cherry is my favorite of the 3 cherry fragrances from Tom Ford. And as I said, they should have stopped at Lost Cherry. Those 2 are redundant, not necessary, the Cherry Smoke and Electric Cherry. So Proad's cherry syrup does remind me of Lost Cherry for sure. We're getting lots of cherry from the cherry note in here. We're getting booziness as well from the rum. And there's definitely some warm spices in there, of course, as well. The cinnamon adds the warmth layer to the fragrance. But we're getting lots of ambroxan here as well. It doesn't necessarily remind me too much of Baccarat Rouge, but it has the hints of it. So you've got kind of like a Baccarat Rouge or more like an ambroxan take on Lost Cherry here. It's pretty long lasting for a fragrance as well. I actually wore it several times, and I actually end up, when I'm not wearing my hat and I've got it styled with product, I spray a lot of fragrance on there, and it lingers on so long, and as I'm walking around, moving around, I can smell the fragrance. But on my skin, it has great longevity. It does have a really, really great longevity. And I like the combination. I like that ambroxan balm kind of a touch with the Baccarat Rouge like qualities that is in here, along with the whole Lost Cherry thing. So I just wanted to highlight this fragrance. Again, this was handed to me by someone I ran into at ZGO Perfumery who recognized me as a person that talks about fragrances, and this is not sold here in San Francisco whatsoever. So it was gifted to me, but I'm highlighting it because I actually like this one, and I like the combination of Lost Cherry with Baccarat Rouge. So this is Proad's cherry syrup. Are you guys familiar with it? Those of you that are in Thailand, I'm sure you are aware of this particular brand. This is a Thai brand, of course, Proad. Anyway, those are my thoughts today. Really disappointing fragrances from Tom Ford, Cherry Smoke and Electric Cherry. Again, as I said, I think they're very redundant. They're not necessary, and they're also very, very overpriced, especially Electric Cherry. Electric Cherry is such a disappointment. It's pretty bad, really, really bad for me. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. I'm sorry to be complaining about Tom Ford fragrances. I know some of you might be into these 2 fragrances. Are you into it? Let me know, put a comment down. And if you've already sampled them and you hate them or don't think twice about them, also let me know. I'd like to find out what you guys think. Do we think alike? Maybe we don't think alike. I don't think we think alike all the time. But if you like my taste, I think these 2 fragrances are not necessary whatsoever. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.